What's up, guys? We're back with some more complete bike reviews. Today I'm going to be talking about Cult's 2021 line, and it's kind of exciting because as far as I know, this line came out like beginning of August. They're already sold out. Now, I have seen a couple places that have a pre-order link. You can go over there, you can pre-order like the Devotion and I think the Access. And they said that they will have those bikes in on the 31st. So if you go like within a week of this video coming out, you can go over there, you can pre-order the bike, and you won't have to worry about missing out. But on any website I've seen so far as I was doing the research for this video, they're already sold out. Now, usually Cult does a second batch in about 4 to 5 months after the initial release date. So if you don't mind waiting that long, just wait. Keep doing your research, figure out what bike is right for you. On a side note, I just finished this really cool thing on my website, and it's a form. All you have to do, you fill it out, you put your name, your height, your skill level, and if you ride street, dirt, park, whatever. And then I get all that information sent to me. I spend some time, I look at it, and I figure out which bike is best for you. I make a little PDF that has 3 bike recommendations. So if you're interested in that, I'll have the link. I'll have 2 links down below, okay? One link for the pre-order, if you guys want to pre-order the Devotion or whatever before they sell out. And a second link to go complete that form and get a customized recommendation from me. All right, so let's get right into the 2021 Cult line. Let's talk about the Cult Access. The 2021 Cult Access is designed for a brand new rider. It has a 20-inch top tube, which is really small, and a high tensile steel frame, bars, and forks. Now remember that high tensile steel is the weaker metal, so it's not going to hold up to mid-level tricks. Over time it starts to bend, and it's just not that strong overall. Now, using this material is what keeps the bike affordable, and it's the reason that the bike is only $329. Now, the Cult Access is going to come in 2 different colors. It's going to come in black, and it's going to come in raw. And those are your only options. Like I mentioned, the price is $329. This is a really low price for a beginner bike, essentially. Now, it's more expensive than a Walmart bike, but it's also built way better. Obviously it's a $300 bike. Now, this is a beginner level bike, and let me tell you why. The high tensile steel just can't hold up to the mid-level tricks, mid or high level. If you're just learning like bunny hops, dropping in 180s, tire taps, foot jams, some of those smaller level tricks, this bike is going to be just fine. But as you start to progress and you start to do like 360s downstairs, drops down big stairs, tail whips, your wheels are going to bend, your frame's going to bend, and you're just going to have a bad time. So that's why I always stress this in these videos, is to make sure that you're riding at a skill level appropriate for the bike, even if it means spending a little more or not spending a little more. If you're a beginner level rider, I'd definitely way rather you get something like this than spend $800 on a bike that you absolutely don't need. You can use something cheaper, progress to a higher level, and then buy that level of bike. Alright, so the important frame specs, it's going to be the 20-inch top tube. And this is for riders who are about 4'10 to 5'6". If you're closer to 4'10", you're going to get a more controlled feel out of the bike. And if you're 5'6", you're going to have a more responsive feel because the bike's going to be smaller on you, therefore it's easier to control. Is it a good bike? Ultimately, it's good for a beginner. Now, for me, it wouldn't last me very long at all. For a pro like Brad Sims, wouldn't last him very long at all. But for a brand new rider, I feel like it's super important to get a bike that's affordable just to get into the sport, try it out, and maybe fall in love with it. Why is it beginner level quality? Well, like I mentioned before, it's got the lower end high tensile steel, it's got the single wall rims, and it's got unsealed bearings. Those are like some of the main things I look at when determining the quality, because those things make the bike last longer depending on their quality. So where these three things are on the lower end, the bike's not going to last as long. Now this bike is going to be for a brand new rider who knows a little bit about the sport, maybe has some favorite pros, has a trick list, some goals that they want to accomplish when riding, but they're not very experienced. So getting this bike is going to help you learn more about the sport, progress faster, and ultimately have fun. Alright, let's talk about the 2021 Cult Gateway. Now the 2021 Gateway is a step up in quality from the Access. It's going to add a little bit of chromoly in the frame, meaning it's got a chromoly front triangle, so the whole frame is not chromoly, but the front half is. This is important because this is where the frame usually bends. So by putting chromoly up front, they're not spending a crazy amount of extra money on the bike, but they are improving the quality a little bit. I have mixed feelings about this just because when you start to learn spins, the high tensile steel back end bends over time, and that's not very much fun. Now, if you can afford to get a bike with full chromoly, I'd recommend just going that route because it's going to save you a lot of headaches in the long run. Now, the Gateway is going to come in 4 different colors. It comes in black, white, gray, and raw. I like these colors more. I really like the gray, which is also on the Devotion. You'll see that in another video, or you'll see that later on. So the Gateway is going to be $400. And in my opinion, that's a pretty decent price. It's under that $500 threshold, which I talk about a lot. Being able to put out a bike for less than $500 ultimately grows the sport of BMX, because this is an affordable price for parents to spend money for a birthday or for Christmas or whatever it may be. Like I mentioned before, the bike is still classified as a beginner level. I really don't give them the mid-level tag unless they have full chromoly, because in mid-level, I feel like you're doing 360s, bar spins, you're starting to learn tail whips, and you need a bike with that full chromoly that's really going to last as you learn those tricks. So this is still a beginner just because the frame's going to bend, the wheels are going to bend. Not to be a Debbie Downer or anything. If you're a beginner rider, this bike's fine for you. If you're trying to do mid-level tricks, not so much. The important frame specs. Now this has a 20.5 inch top tube, which is half an inch taller than the Access. And what that means is that it's for riders who are 5'3" to 6 foot. Now the chainstay is a 13.65 inch chainstay, and this is longer. All of Colt's 20-inch bikes have this size chainstay, and it's a lot longer than most complete bikes. The reason that they have this long of a chainstay is because it provides you a better balance point. So with the longer chainstay, learning manuals, you're not going to loop out as easily. You're also able to pull the bike up higher before your tipping point, which ultimately helps you hop higher. Now, is it a good bike? Again, just like the Access, it's a really good bike if you're only riding at a beginner level. And now I definitely say it's higher end beginner, because there's different, there's brand new and then there's beginner. And this is more of the beginner level, where you're starting to learn BMX tricks and your bike's starting to take a beating. Maybe you're crashing, you're falling, and you're starting to really get into the sport. However, you're still not at that mid-level where you're doing those bigger tricks. Why is it still beginner quality? Well, again, just like I said, with the back end of the frame being high tensile steel, it's going to bend as you spin. That's no fun. Single wall rims also. I remember I was learning tail whips. My bike kept coming around and hitting the ground, and my single wall back wheel turned into a taco. And that's no fun either. And that's the Cult Gateway. Alright, let's talk about the 2021 Cult Control. Now the Cult Control is a bike for street riders. It's got a 20.75 inch top tube, so it's going to be for those guys who are closer to the taller end, probably not 6'4", but you know, up there around 6 feet or so. Overall, it's significantly stronger than the Gateway, but I'm still going to classify it as a beginner. I'll talk about why in just a couple minutes. Alright, it comes in two different boring color options. It comes in black and it comes in raw. Can't really talk about them very much, but it's kind of boring. However, by doing this with these limited options, they're able to keep the bikes at a decently fair price, whereas like Sunday has all these different color options and their bikes are a little more expensive for the quality. Like the quality to price ratio on a Sunday is a lot higher than a Cult. So if you don't mind paying for, paying less and getting boring colors, that's fine. The Cult Control is $469, so it's right under $5, and again, the $500 price point is super important, I think, as parents are shopping for gifts. Cult making this bike $469, good move. It's going to help grow the sport, which is what I ultimately want to do. Now it is still classified as a beginner level bike, and that's because it doesn't have full chromoly yet. It's got the chromoly front triangle, it has stronger bars than the Gateway, it has stronger forks, so it does have a big jump in quality, but it's just not all there. So it's still going to be beginner, but it's still a good bike. Some of the important frame specs is the 20.75 inch top tube. What that means is it's going to be for riders who are about 5'6" to 6'2". If you're 5'6", it's going to feel really flowy and controlled. Whereas if you're 6'2", it's going to be a lot more snappy and responsive. I'm 6'4", and I rode a 20.7 inch frame, and it was crazy because it was just so it was so responsive, so easy to kick tricks around. So if you're 6'2", you get this 20.75, you're going to have an easier time controlling it than someone who's 5'6". Is it a good bike? I'm going to say yeah, and here's why. I like that they added a double wall back rim because that's going to hold up a lot more than the single wall, obviously. They also made sure that the bars and the forks were full chromoly, so you're not going to have any issues like landing and bending your bar end, which I've seen happen. It's crazy. They also added a handful of aftermarket parts to make the bike just a little bit better quality. They added things like the Cult member sprocket, the Salvation top load stem, chromoly 3-piece cranks, and Cult Vans tires. Now the Cult Control is going to be for a rider who's still at that beginner level stage. However, they're going to have a lot more experience in the sport than a brand new rider. So this person might have gotten like a Walmart bike or a really low end bike and has progressed, but not to the point that they need a mid-level bike. They're probably doing tricks like 180s, 3 taps, feeble grinds, Smith grinds, just those basic beginner level tricks. Now, if you're riding at a higher level, this bike's not going to be for you. You're going to want to take a look at the Cult Devotion. All right, the 2021 Cult Devotion. Last year in 2020, this was my favorite mid-level bike out of all the bikes that came out. I love it because it comes with full chromoly. It's at a low price. It's just over $500. It's just got really good quality added in. It comes with pegs. It had some cool colors. Now it's a little different in 2021 just because there's been some competition come out. There's some bikes with similar quality. Maybe they're a little cheaper. They've got better color options. I'm not going to talk about them in this video, but the Devotion is a really solid bike for mid-level riders. Now the Cult Devotion comes in 3 different colors. It comes in black, gray, and white. As far as I know, as I'm making this video, white is absolutely sold out. There is no way you're going to find a white one. I saw one on eBay. They were asking like $600 for it. But other than that, that's it. It's out. So this is one of the bikes that you can actually pre-order. If you're seeing this early enough, Source is letting you pre-order before August 31st. And on August 31st, they're going to get their shipment in and they're going to send them out. I don't know how fast they're going to sell out, to be honest. It seems like all the bikes have sold out really fast, but maybe you'll be okay and they will have them in stock for a few months. So it's $539, just over that $500 price point that I talk about. In my opinion, it is worth that just because of the full chromoly, the added pegs, and the handful of aftermarket parts that they included with it. It's for mid-level riders, and what I mean by that is someone who's in the sport, mastered all the beginner tricks, and is now working towards being a high-level rider. They're doing tricks like 360s, they're hopping up stair sets, they're 360ing down stair sets, they're grinding handrails, they're doing bar spins, they're learning whips. All those mid-level tricks this person is doing. And they need a bike that's going to help them progress to high level and also withstand the mid-level. So it comes with a 21-inch top tube. And that's going to be for riders who are 5'8 to 6'4". A lot of guys message me asking, hey, what do you think about this bike for me? And I say, well, how tall are you? And they're like, well, I'm 5'4". I'm like, honestly, it's a little big. It's going to be really hard for you to control. Now, is the Devotion a good bike? Yes, it is still one of my favorites, especially from all the 2021 lines I've looked at. It's not my number one favorite anymore. Again, it's got a lot of good quality with those added aftermarket parts. I think it's really cool that it comes with pegs. And it might actually come with a free coaster. Hold up. And it doesn't come with a free coaster. I lied. And that's the Cult Devotion. Again, check out below for that pre-order link if you're interested in making sure you're able to get one of these this year because they're going to go fast. All right, that is the 2021 Cult line. Overall, it's pretty basic, pretty limited, to the point. However, there is some good quality bikes in there. If you're interested in pre-ordering any of these bikes and you don't want to miss out, click the link, head over to Source, and make sure you pre-order before they're all gone. Now, if you like these bike reviews and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe so that you get notified when I post a new one. I'm always working on more. I spend so much time doing this, but ultimately, I love it. I have a lot of fun. If you need help with any tricks, you have any questions about a bike, or you need a bike recommendation, message me on Instagram. I'll do my best to get back to you. I want to see you succeed in BMX and learn lots of tricks. So with that, have a great whatever day it is, and we'll talk to you next time.